What's up, guys? Welcome back to Digital Dive In, the proper gaming talk show where we dive into everything gaming every single week. We are your hosts, Sandsology and SGK.
What up, people? It's a beautiful Friday, and we have some good topics for you today.
So we've been hearing a lot about games making comebacks lately. It started back in 2021 with the rumors of, Resistance and Sly Cooper possibly making a comeback. And then we heard about Splinter Cell and Crisis 4. And these are all still some of these are rumors, some of these are actually confirmed. But I think that the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X offer a really, really good medium for these types of brand new game or old games to make comebacks. There's a lot of opportunity there for these older games to make comebacks, but what we wanted to talk about today are games from our past that we really, really loved over the years that haven't seen the light of day in years that could maybe make a comeback or that we just want to make a comeback soon. So yeah, we're just going to talk about that today. Guys, if there's any game that we did not mention that you would really love to see a new game of or a remake or whatever, please let us know in the comment section below.
So my first game is going to be SSX. I've literally been
This dude is obsessed with SSX.
and biting at the teeth for a new game. I didn't get a chance to play the original ones because I didn't have a PS2 at the time.
That's fair.
And they came out with a PS3 version, which was not well received because it was lacking some online features and a multitude of other things. But it was still a great game to me, and it still had at the core what made SSX fun, which was amazing tricks, amazing fluidity when it comes to doing all those things, and a great challenge. Well, it was a challenge more or less to the end, but
Yeah.
So I love those games, and they got me really, really into trick games. I had trick games before, but nothing really clicked like SSX did for me. And now it's got me playing Ollie World, and I am totally in love with it.
Yeah, I
that
feel
is
like
the only
you. I
game-
feel like you really like those arcadey sports games more than
they're amazing.
more than games like Skate or Riders Republic even.
Yeah, because I don't know, the arcade games is just like fun, over the top, pure
I mean, that's
euphoria. It's
fair.
kind of
Yeah.
like where games kind of started, and then they were like, "Yo, let's get more serious," So yeah, that's my first one. I hope
That's
they want
fair.
to make a comeback. Seems like they might, because you got a lot of snowboarding and
Yeah, they make
biker
those
games
kind of
going on,
games
so-
are definitely coming back lately, especially with the success of Riders Republic. It has a really niche following, but people love that game. So
But it is vice script by EA, and we all know how that goes. So
yeah. So this is a game that we saw first in the last gen, in the PS4, one of the first games to release. And then we saw a little DLC game come out for it, but we haven't seen anything since. And that was Infamous. So we had two really, really good games on the PS3. We had
those are amazing.
the original Infamous game, which was revolutionary, absolutely insane, awesome morality system. And then we had Infamous 2, which was even better and worked off of the more popular ending to the first Infamous game. And one of my favorite DLCs of all time, Festival of Blood for Infamous 2.
Oh, that was so dope.
So good. One of my favorite vampire games ever. It was so awesome. And then we had Second Son, which was a modernization of the Infamous series, which was very, very good. I introduced a brand new character.
It was great. Yeah.
Yeah, and story-wise, it was pretty generic. It's just a revenge game, revenge title that, has been done to death. But the gameplay was fun. Delson Rowe was an awesome character. The people he came into contact with were great. Had a really good DLC expansion called First Light, which focused on the girl, the neon girl. I forget her name. That was really fun. And her powers are great. And I like his whole, rogue type of gameplay to him. He was basically Rogue from X-Men, where he could just absorb other people's powers and use them.
Yeah.
That was dope.
I mean,
that was cool.
That was dope.
He was
But
a
I
power
kinda missed
sponge.
The characters, the characters from the first game.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
no,
you had Zeke was.
I miss
somewhat-
Cole. I miss Cole.
Yeah, Zeke was in the Second Son, but yeah, I definitely miss Cole, and it kind of that's where I kind of tapered off from Second Son. Performance wise, it was great.
Yeah, it played great. The gameplay was
Yeah.
awesome. The exploration was fun. It was one of the only games to use the whole motion controller thing because you had to shake the You could spray paint on the wall, said shake it and you would spray it. And I'm like, that's cool. That was the first game to use it, and no other game used the motion capture of the game. So it was weird, but it worked and it was fun to play. But I would love to see another Infamous game come out by Sucker Punch. And I don't know why we haven't heard anything or seen anything. And if we have, and I'm just an idiot, sorry, my bad. But I haven't heard anything. So I would love another Infamous game, maybe with another character. I would love to see these new characters and see the world of Conduits expanding and moving forward instead of just staying in the same area. Because the Infamous 2 introduced he was like the superhero guy that just helped people in New Orleans setting type of place, and then Infamous Second Son was a game where all these conduits and people with powers were oppressed and everything. So it was really interesting, and it was cool to see just the world evolve. So I would love to see where the world could go, because it could go literally anywhere.
But yeah, so I guess I'll take it away with my next one.
Definitely.
So this one is going to be a little bit of a conundrum, just because they already did do more with this certain IP, and they've done a fantastic job with it. But I would still like to see it come back. I would definitely love a new Spider-Man Web of Shadows. I love that game. That game is amazing. Probably one of the best I think they've done, just because it had a lot of unique systems. The Morales system was beautifully done. It blurred the lines between Spider-Man and Black Suit Spider-Man in a way that wasn't done before either. A lot of fandom was in the game that made the game a lot better. Being able to hook up with Black Cat, fighting Wolverine in a Venom suit, there were just certain things that
is super cool.
Wanted to see and wanted to experience, and you got to do that in that game based on your choices, and then also the combat was very much free flow, and it had pretty much limitless potential, because you could literally change suits mid-punch, mid-combat, completely change the way the combo worked and operated, and do that anytime you wanted. So there was literally infinite combo potential there. And then the endings, you got to see the bad Spider-Man endings where, people started teaming up against Spider-Man. The good guys and the bad guys were just yo, Spider-Man's too powerful. I don't like this. And these are the same people who are just yo, Spider-Man, come to the dark side. It's okay. But it was an amazing game, and I loved it. The only complaint was that the voice actor for Spider-Man was a little bit
bad.
Too whiny. Yeah,
it was bad.
Besides that, it was a beautiful game.
I didn't play much of that one. I played, what was it? Shattered Dimensions. Freaking loved Shattered Dimensions. They came out around the same time, and there's always two different players. They either play Web of Shadows or they play Shattered Dimensions. Most of the time, they didn't play both. But I loved Shattered Dimensions. This is my first experience with Ben Reilly and 2099 Spider-Man and a couple of others. So that was a fun game. But yeah, Web of Shadows, I would like to go back and replay that game.
That broke the mold for me. I was no more morality system.
We might see a morality system in Spider-Man 2, Insomniac Spider-Man 2. Maybe with, Black Suit Spider-Man and stuff like that, but I don't know.
If they took Web of Shadows and pseudo integrated it into Spider-Man 2 with the combos, being able to switch from black suit to whatever to red suit whenever you want,
that'd be kind of cool.
That would be amazing. But I think that was probably just for that game, because you're gonna have alternate suits.
Yeah, they said every suit in Marvel Spider-Man 2 is gonna have a black variant, which is gonna be nuts and awesome. So
that'd be interesting.
It'd be very interesting.
What's your next one?
So my next one is a Star Wars game that I'm sure literally everybody wants to come back. And no, it's not Coder, because that one's already announced. But it's Force Unleashed. Force Unleashed was one of the first Star Wars game, Star Wars mediums that attempted to bridge the gap after Episode 3 and before Episode 4. Because you were playing as Darth Vader's first apprentice, and he was tasked with killing all the Jedi. And it was one of the very few games where you started off playing as a Sith and worked your way up to playing as a Jedi and could switch at literally any time. Because it had a pretty solid morality system.
you got to see Darth Vader absolutely suck as a mentor. He is.
Oh, he was garbage. He was garbage. I mean, look what happened with Ahsoka. Both of Anakin's Padawans left him. Like, come on. But no, the first Force Unleashed game was phenomenal, and the second game was great from a gameplay standpoint. The story of the second game was absolutely garbage. So bad. Didn't make any sort of sense at all, but it was still fun to play because you had the dual lightsabers, and it opened it up to a whole other world of combat scenarios, and it was just nuts.
I mean, there were some surprises that I didn't expect, but it was kind of weak compared to the first game.
Totally. It was far weaker than the first game.
I also want to commend that narrative single player story Star Wars games got the God of War treatment. Which that game was total. That series was total power fantasy.
Oh, it was, and it was amazing.
And that's why we all loved it, And then you transfer over to Jedi Fallen Order is way more narrative, way more.
Grounded,
and more cinematic. And like Souls.
It is more cinematic and not as like power fantasy, but still, Jedi Fallen Order is one of the greatest Star Wars games ever made. Freaking phenomenal! Oh yeah, holy shit.
Hands down.
Yeah. I also liked in the Force Unleashed games where you could do like the alternate endings where you can kill like Chewie and Han, do like the whole alternate timeline type of thing. That was wild. Oh my god!
I did like the DLC for, I think it was the second one where you got the hooded like.
Oh yeah, the different outfits and stuff. Yeah, those are dope. Those are so freaking cool. The Sith Acolyte suits. Oh my god! In a Force Unleashed 3, I don't know what we could expect. I mean, the game, depending on what ending you got, it was kind of open ended, kind of not. So it was interesting. The most of it was just him going off to find his original. Because in the second game, you were a clone of the original. Or you were the original. They never really, told you.
That was the whole dilemma. Like,
yeah, exactly. Am I real? Am I a clone? I got to go find the actual guy. I don't freaking know. So, yeah. I would love to see that whole world expand. And I would love to see Starkiller, whatever his actual name was, I totally forget, come in like, the actual Star Wars canon, like either Jedi Fallen Order or the Ahsoka series or whatever. I would love to see Starkiller come back. Please make that happen, Disney. God. Sam Witwer is just an amazing actor in general, and I love him to death. I love you, Sam Witwer. You're my boyfriend. Anyways, what's your next one?
My next one is probably my favorite, one of the greatest, in my opinion, one of the greatest racing games created in a long time, if period. Split Second.
Man,
absolutely love and adore this game. It was that game that released in 2010. It was published by Disney, developed by Dark Rock Studios, I believe their name is.
I think so.
And they created a game where you could change the environment as you're racing, build up power plays, and it wasn't just that, which was amazing because you were racing and then all of a sudden you had to make a split-second decision on how you want to avoid all the turmoil and all the drama going on in the track. But it was also just the music, and it played like a cinematic 007 chase scene.
It did. It was kind of crazy.
Like cinematic light, and the music just went right along with all the damage going on, the build up, the drops, everything like that. It just made you feel like you were in a 007 race.
It just made you feel like you're in a movie, and I like that how you could be really strategic with how you changed the track. Because if you're like you need something drastic to happen, you just trigger it, and this catastrophic thing happens that destroys half the track, and you just go off in a whole other direction, and now you have to deal with that. I'm like, oh my god, very very cinematic.
And you destroy, you do a power play level 3, you destroy the whole thing, and then that leads you into a completely different route of the game. You didn't even exist with other power plays and other things to destroy. It was a really unique game.
No game has really done that really well.
Yeah. The story was kind of lackluster, but it was kind of realistic.
I only played the demo for that game, so I just replayed the same track and the same race 50 billion times because there's so many different things you could do.
The story pretty much is that you're on a TV show and you kind of have to be the standing and make it through the whole thing, which means that you're actually killing people if it's a TV show. So
Yeah, it's kind of like Death Race, but PG.
yeah, literally.
Oh god, Death Race. I freaking miss Death Race.
I hands down know if they made a second one, it would be 10 times bigger, better. The graphics still hold up to this day.
Yeah, we just need to get out of Disney's hands and put it in somewhere else.
Literally. Because they canceled that in 1313, and I'm really mad about it.
So my last one is probably one of the bigger Sony first-person shooter games. So Xbox had Halo, and that was like their staple. You know, that was the one that they had going for them. And Call of Duty was like owning the first-person shooter scene for the longest freaking time. It still pretty much does. But Sony had their own FPS franchise that wasn't quite on par with Halo, but still had its own fans that were like diehard fans of it, and that was Killzone. Killzone currently has 4 games in the franchise, and the last game pretty much killed the franchise, unfortunately, because it was just so bad. It was just so bad.
Killzone Shadowfall was booty cheeks.
It was so bad. But Killzone 3 was god tier. This game had an amazing story, incredible gameplay, awesome multiplayer. Oh my god. There's not that many times that like a sci-fi shooter does it right. I mean, we only have a handful: Halo, Titanfall 2. Killzone 3 was on top as one of the best sci-fi shooters of all time. I would love for Killzone to make a comeback. I don't know if that's even possible, but oh my god, they could do so much. It was such a cool world, such a cool premise. It almost seemed like after I started playing Wolfenstein, it gave me, like, looking back, Killzone was so reminiscent of Wolfenstein. Like, extremely, because it was basically space Nazis that you were fighting. So it's like,
I think it would have to be a reboot at this point.
Yeah, and I would be totally okay with that because it's been freaking forever since we've had a Killzone game, a good Killzone game. So I would 100% love a reboot remake of the original Killzone. People, make it happen, please. God, let's get a petition going on. Let's make that something that actually happens. Oh my god.
So good. So pretty.
I do have an honorable that we mentioned already, and that was Prototype. Prototype 1 and 2, both phenomenal games, super interesting. You were playing the bad guy. That doesn't happen all the time. Awesome combat, just gore, everything was just freaking awesome. And then my other one is Jack and Daxter, because it was like my favorite childhood game. Even though I just didn't play the other 2 games of Jack and Daxter. I did play Daxter on the PSP, and I loved that game. So good.
My one honorable is Bulletstorm.
Yeah.
This is honorable just because it is undecided what is going to happen with its future. People Can Fly are the people that are currently supporting Outriders and develop Outriders. So
that's right.
They might be on par to do something if not, Outriders continues to be successful. They will do something and return to Bulletstorm. It is a first-person shooter that came out back on PS3. Probably one of the most unique shooters that I've played. Gameplay felt really tight and responsive. The gore was amazing. The headshots felt so satisfying. When you headshot somebody, it was like, so nice. So beautiful. The story was actually really good, and it left on a cliffhanger, which is one of the reasons why a lot.
Yeah, like come on, like give us another game if you're gonna end like that. Come on now.
I hate games like that where it's just like, all right, 20 years later, it's like, what? Like, come on, man. Like,
of course, we also have games that are already announced as they're coming back, and we kind of mentioned this already, but some of the games include Skate 4 that EA is already announced is going to be launching soon. We haven't even seen anything for it, but, you know. Crisis 4 came out of the trailer. I am way too hype about that.
Oh, my God.
BioShock 4 has been kind of announced, soft announced. If you haven't played Infinite, go play that game. One of the best games ever, even though people don't like it in terms of BioShock lore, but I love that game. And then, of course, the Splinter Cell remake, which you touched on in another video, and that will be right here. Those are the games that we would love to make a comeback Let us know what games you want to make a comeback, whether it's anything ones we talked about. If you played any of those, I'm sure you did. Or if it's, something that you just remember from your childhood that you would love to, either play again, have a remake of, or just a sequel if you never got one. Let us know in the comment section below. But anyways, guys, that's all the time we have today. So thank you so much for watching Digital Dive-In. Please hit that like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel and you're not subscribed yet. And hit that bell so you get notified whenever these videos go live. We also just uploaded our Dying Light 2 review, so go check that out if you have not played the game, or if you have, you just want to know what other people think about it. Thank you so much for watching. Stay excellent, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.